Hello everybody, good morning, happy Toyah Day. Is it warm enough for you? Because I am melting here. I had the crazy idea that I was going to wear my stage costumes for these broadcasts. I just forgot that it was going to be summer throughout most of them. But anyway, we're going to start this morning with Good Morning Universe. Now, this song has had quite a journey. It started in 1981, late in 1981, when Joel Bogan sent me a backing track for this joyous tune. And I instantly thought, I want to call this Good Morning Universe, and I want to share this chorus with the audience. It's a sing-back song. And throughout the decades, it slowly got forgotten. But then in the last 20 years, when all of the kind of 80s rewind shows and the Let's Rock started to emerge again, younger audiences really adopted this song as their own. And it suddenly took on a new life. And I walk on stage now, whether I'm in a rock club or I'm in a festival or I'm in a theatre, and as soon as this song starts, you feel this tidal wave of energy just pass through the audience. And that is exactly what I wanted from any song, yet alone this song, is that you can transfer energy into an audience via a tune. So this is a prime example of sharing with the audience, which is something I love to do. It's a really rewarding thing to experience as a singer. So let's start today with Good Morning Universe.
Good morning, universe. How are you today?
Hello, welcome back. You have sent in some fantastic questions. They are so interesting. I just can't wait to get to them. So we're going to start now. And we've got Christy Smart, who said Shirley Manson from Garbage recently named me as an influence when she was growing up. I'm hugely grateful for that. That has changed my life so much. I mean, this may sound ridiculous, but I think someone of Shirley's stature saying that I influenced her has actually helped people take me a bit more seriously. My life has changed better, for the better, so positively since that happened. But anyway, Christy, you ask who were my influences. Well, I grew up in the 60s with fabulous music from the Rolling Stones to Hendrix to the Beatles. There were women around, but one of the most influential for me was Dusty Springfield, because she's just this magnificent voice. There was also Sandy Shaw. Now, they were both chalk and cheese. Dusty Springfield had this timeless voice. I mean, absolutely effortless, perfect voice, and her choice of songs were always brilliant. But with Sandy Shaw, what I loved about Sandy was her sense of freedom. You knew that she walked on stage as herself. She was Sandy Shaw. She was not going to be told who or what to do. And obviously I first saw her with winning the Eurovision Song Contest, and I fell in love with her. So I think the mixture of both Sandy Shaw and Dusty Springfield influenced me at a very young age. And then when you get into the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, I was very influenced by Curved Air. And their lead singer was Sonia Christina. Oh my goodness, what a fabulous voice she had. And then you had Grace Slick. And of course, the very famous song, White Rabbit. And those taught me that women's voices could be really, really strong and very direct. So I'd say that they were underlined subconscious cultural influences on me by the sheer power and confidence of who they were. And then if you go to the surface level of influence, then you've got early Roxy Music, you've got Alice Cooper. Oh, I wish I got the chance to work with Alice Cooper. Maybe. If Alice ever gets to hear about this, can we sing together? There's also the Rolling Stones. Absolutely love them, love the Beatles. But the 70s in particular presented great artists, right from Lou Reed to Bowie to early Roxy. They were all influences. So Christy, thank you for your question. Now, Jean Stobbart says, am I still auditioning and am I still getting scripts for movies? Well, the good news is a movie we shot last September. When I say we, Mark Wingate, Leslie Ash, and quite a few of the other of the Quad team made a completely unrelated film to Quad called To Be Someone. And we just heard it's coming out. So we start the press for that next week. And this is really exciting, very exciting. I think it will probably hopefully be showing by September. Where? Don't ask me. I don't know if it's going to be Netflix or cinemas. Who knows what's going on? But we've just started to do the press for it. And then, of course, Give Them Wings has been accepted at the Venice Film Festival. So that's going to be out this year as well. Two radically different films. So, Jean Stobbart, I went off on a tangent, you know, the way I always do. Have I been able to receive scripts and do screen tests? Yes. In this house, and this is my office, I have a green screen studio. So I shoot videos there. I shoot my auditions in front of directors there. We do live link-ups, we do Zooms, and I am still getting scripts. The problem is, because of social distancing, even though that's easing off, you can't really shoot dramatic scenes if you're even 1 meter apart. You need that freedom to move. So we're all finding ways of getting around that. But yes, thank you, Jean. I am still very much connected to the acting world, thank goodness. I've got 2 fabulous releases this year, and that always starts the ball rolling in other directions. So, next question. It's Jolyn Dixon. Oh my God, Jolyn was the guitarist on Take the Leap. I have to read this. This is absolutely gorgeous. I'd like to ask if you'd be up for doing a Take the Leap reunion tour with Friday Forever with John Wakefield, Stuart Ross, and Paolo Luther. Oh my God! Jolyn, you don't have to ask. Just pick up the phone. My mobile hasn't changed in what, 30 years? So, wow, that is fabulous. I'm really taken by surprise. These boys are a lot younger than me. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's do something. Oh, wow. That's so good. Okay, next question. Mark Unique Fowler. I like that, Mark. That's a fantastic name. Now, Mark, you say thank you for giving the time for doing these films. Mark, this is all I want to do. Otherwise, if I'm not doing this, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, and I'm... Ugh. I just want to be with you guys. I want to be on stage. I don't want to be at home. But anyway, Mark, you say, what was it like meeting Steve Strange back in the day? I've got something to show you. Now, before I show you this, the photographer was Robert Rosen, and he must be credited. And this was taken at the party after the premiere of The Tempest. I hope you can see that. It's me and Steve Strange. I love that picture. I absolutely love it. What I adored about Steve Strange is he had no self-consciousness, which meant that he wasn't guarded in any way. He was incredibly interesting and open, and to the point of almost being naive. Now, one of the last times I was physically with Strange was at the Victoria and Albert Museum for the Bowie exhibition. It was a year later for From Club to Catwalk. And as we walked in, David Bowie phoned Steve Strange on his mobile to ask him how the exhibition was. You know, this is what Steve Strange was like. He was open, he was social, he had great ideas, he was a really wonderful club MD. He was just lovely. And when I had Mayhem, which was my warehouse, which I lived with a group of people from about 1970, end of 77 right through to 81, Steve used to hire it for the whole weekend, about every other weekend, and have these parties that went on forever and ever and ever. I mean, 4-day parties. I used to sneak home to Birmingham and see the parents and then come back on the Monday, and everyone thought I'd just popped out the back. I mean, these were really exceptional days in my life. And Steve Strange really was the kind of driving force behind all that creativity. He was just so open and had so much energy. And you asked, did I go to the Blitz? I'm sure I did. But being very, very short, I remember I never really enjoyed being in crowds because I was forever like trying to see over people's shoulders. But I do know that he was hugely respected and very, very loved. So thank you so much for that question. And it allowed me to kind of dig out that photo, Mark, which is a really lovely memory. Kenny Carmichael, I know where you live. You say you've seen me often, and your favourite venue you saw me in was Glasgow Apollo. What is my favourite venue? Well, I have to say Glasgow Apollo is pretty special. It's no longer there, but I always remember the little rickety wooden staircase going up to the stage that was no more than 12 inches wide. And when you had big hair, you used to have to kind of ascend it sideways to get on stage. And the stage, I think, was 15 feet above the audience in the auditorium, so you could see into the eyes of the people on the balcony, and you had to look down into the auditorium. Well, I did one of my first punk gigs there, and they still managed to hit us with spits from that far down. And then along came 1981, and everything was a little bit more civilized. But it was a fantastic venue to play because Glasgow audiences, I mean, my goodness, you went hell for leather to have a good time, and I remember it so well. But you asked me, what was my favourite venue and my favourite tour? Well, my favourite venue is something I've always aspired to, and I've only ever played twice, and that's Wembley Arena. And I think I love playing there, and I like to think I'll go there again, because it's just the summit of your career to be in a venue that big. It's joyous. The staff there are phenomenal. They treat you really well, and they don't kind of look down on you if you're on a package or you're not headlining. Everyone is welcome, and you just have this lovely time and this phenomenal space with this great audience who are just as pleased to be at Wembley Arena as you are. It's fabulous. So that's probably one of my favourite venues, but also I really love playing in churches. And the reason for that is churches are built acoustically for music, and the experience is just phenomenal. So I really would like to do a church tour with perhaps my new album, which I've already started and is really rocking. We'll see what we can do, but I just love those acoustics. And the problem with doing churches is that I like my audience to dance and join in. You can't really do that in a church, but that the churches do suit the acoustic show brilliantly. So you asked me, Kenny, what was my favorite tour? I have to tap my fingers here. I loved all of the Humans tours because I was with Bill, and Bill was just the greatest influence in my life. And that's Bill Rieflin. My favourite Toyah tour would probably have been in very recent years, like last year when we played Scotland. That was gorgeous. It was a really lovely tour from Edinburgh right through to finishing at Glasgow. It was just right and special, and the venues were great and the music was great. And this links on beautifully to the next question from Kirsty Harris. And Kirsty says that when she was 7, her mum and dad took her to see me at Poole. Did I ever think I'd be performing 40 years later with new material? Well, I probably did 40 years ago, hope and pray that I would. And I'm just really grateful that I am now. So absolutely brilliant stuff. And Kirsty, thank you for that question. And she says that she's looking forward to seeing me again now. But linking both Kirsty's question and Kenny's question is I'm really enjoying the new music. I love doing the old stuff. That puts bums on seats. I'm not arguing about that, and people love to come and sing and join in with all of that. But with the Crimson Queen, I've proven I can do that with the new stuff as well, especially with Dance in the Hurricane. And with the new stuff I'm writing and have been writing in lockdown, which has a real kind of, how can I put this, arsey quality to it. And people are going, wow, where did that come from? I can't wait to get out there and play new stuff for you as well. Your questions this week have been really fantastic, and I want to say to you, please keep them coming and ask anything. For instance, Phil Higgins has written to me and he said, will I ever perform computers off sheep farming, either live or in a session? Well, Phil, this is such a great question, so I can give you an exclusive here. We've been Zooming with Cherry Red Records, who are getting ready to release my back catalogue. And we've decided that these sessions are going to include songs that we have not performed live off these albums. So this is going to be very interesting, because there's quite a lot of stuff out there that has never been performed live because they're album tracks. So you have set the ball rolling, and Computer is going to be one of those songs. So Cherry Red, what do they want me to do? They want me to kind of reawaken the music to the audience. So we are planning probably after August that we're going to start doing these sessions with one or two songs from the early albums with the Toyah band, so that we can just give you tasters of what those albums were like. Now, I consider Sheep Farming in Barnet and Blue Meaning to be absolute classics, game-changing cultural classics. And I think once they're out there again, and once they've got a real record company running them and behind them, I can put them where they're supposed to be on the cultural map. So I'm really excited about this. So Phil, thank you so much for that question. Now, Robert Worrell from Melbourne. Hello, good evening. It's so good to hear from you. You ask what song lyrically or vocally took the longest and was the most difficult to record. Which shall I choose first? interestingly, working with gorgeous Bill Rieflin, who was my fellow human in the band The Humans, that's the vinyl over there for We Are the Humans and Sugar Rush, he would make me rewrite the lyrics as many as 9 times, and then he'd go back to the original. And one beautiful example of Bill, and this really does put a smile on my face, was I was over in Seattle, and I went over there just to see him and to write some stuff and do some demos with him. And this was about 5-6 years ago. And I wrote the demo to a song called Slow Descent, which opens Strange Tales. And I went down from my bedroom down into his home studio, and I played in this, and he just went, "What do you expect me to do with that?" So we left it and we got on and we recorded Fallen, which is a song I work with Paul Masterson, the dance mix DJ, because I wrote the lyric to that while at Bill's house. And then a year later, I picked Bill up from Heathrow to bring him here to my home, where he was. We were about to start recording some work or getting ready for a tour. Excuse me being vague about that, because the Humans were so spaced out. I keep having to think geographically where it all happened. But anyway, I picked Bill up a year later from giving him the demo on Slow Descent, and he's in the car. And we're in the 2.5-hour drive from Heathrow to where we live. And he says, "I found this CD. I don't know what it is, but it's my favourite song of all time." And he put the CD on the car radio, and it was Slow Descent. And we were on the M40, and I could have killed him. I just thought, Bill, you really had a go at me for that song. So that is a typical experience of songwriting with Bill. But also, when I wrote the lyric to Small Town Psychopath, again on Strange Tales, I took 3 months to write that, even though it's pretty much a vignette of a vocal. But every chord is a different chord. Every bar is a chord change. So I wanted it to be spot on. And when we recorded it, Bill said, "Oh, I'm going to have to spend forever compositing this vocal." And he didn't. He went for the 3rd take. So writing and singing can always be challenging, but the end result is always rewarding. And what I loved about working with Bill is he made me a better person and a better artist and a better writer. So thank you so much for that question. Now, Beck Wolf, Ophelia's Shadow remains one of my favourite of all times. Thank you for that, because it's a really, really special album. And I love it too. You say that you can't really do it live because the layering of all the music is challenging. There's multiple layers. There's 48 tracks. Could we ever do Brilliant Day or Lords of the Never Known? Well, Beck, Lords of the Never Known has come back into my life because wonderful Keith Tippett, who passed away last week, is the piano player on the end of that. And I want to perform this song again. So the answer to your question, Beck, is yes. We can do Brilliant Day. It's a really quite simple song to do. And my band can certainly do it. And Lords of the Never Known, yes. We will make sure that in this run of Toyah at Home, we will cover those for you. Stephen Bennett Troke, you ask, have I ever considered putting visuals to the album Prostitute and performing it as an art piece on stage? I have considered this a lot, and I would love to do it because it lends itself to that. The whole thing about Prostitute is it's very much built as a piece of performance art. It was meant to be that when it first came out, and I was lucky enough to open for Fripp Fripp, the band Robert and I had together in '88. I used to open on my own on stage performing Prostitute. They would then have a break, and then Fripp Fripp would come on and we perform Kneeling at the Shrine. So that's very much how it started, and it would lend itself to an art construct piece. Now, a little birdie I know is very influential at the Baltic Mill Arts Centre in Newcastle. So I'm hoping he might give me an invite to do it live with a visual artist one day. I'm laughing because he's responsible for this production. But I would love to do that. It would be fantastic. And all the ideas I had from when I originally wrote it would still be very relevant today, but historically today is even more powerful with the themes and the subjects from that album, which are mainly to do with, how can I put this? How women, all women of all cultures, are viewed in a slightly judgmental way. I'm trying to be really careful here because I don't want to enter politics. But, Stephen, that is an idea I would love to do, and I would be very up for doing that. So anyone out there who wants to do it with me, who's got that kind of technology and that experience at hand, here's an artist just waiting to work. Yeah! So the last question. I have to say, I have loved these questions, so please keep them coming. You're going to see a lot of me. I'm not going to go away. These broadcasts are going to happen every Saturday. So please, please feel free to ask completely outlandish questions to make us all laugh, and those that will make us think as well. So Alan Stevens, and this is a really lovely, lovely question. I want to give a big shout out to your daughter, Eliza, because Eliza did a project at school where she had to write about someone of influence, past, present, or even future, a role model who has strength and determination. And Eliza chose to write about me. So Eliza, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And your favourite songs are, I do believe, Sensational and It's a Mystery. So there you go. The beginning of my career and the latest part of my career. That's what I call good choice, Eliza. Thank you so much. That is fabulous. So you came to see me in Stamford this year, and that was a good show. I'm really pleased with that show. We had a lot of band members on stage. It was an acoustic show, and it was just a great night. It was rocking. So I hope you really enjoyed it. I loved it. So thank you, Eliza. Your contribution to me in the educational workplace means the earth to me. It means the earth. And I hope that you got good scores from your teacher for that one. So that's all the questions. Thank you so much. They have been fantastic. I have loved them, and they've really made me think and go down memory lane. So please remember, ask anything. You can make us laugh, you can make us think, you can outrage us. Let's see what happens next week. But you are so important to me, and I love doing this. So let's just make it grow. If you've got ideas, throw them in the pot. Let's see what happens. Now, before we go, we're going to give you one more tune. And this is The Humans' last tour at Trading Boundaries, and we are playing She's Fast. It's a fantastic song that sums up the energy of this band. And I always love performing it, and we will perform it again one day in the future. Stay safe and see you next week. Get thinking about those outrageous questions. Bye for now. Thank you. One of the things we try to do is invert the pop song and just turn it on its head, and we do that with subject matter, and we do it by just moving the instrumentation around. This is a song called She's Fast, and it's exactly what it is.
She goes, she sways, she glows. She hums, she ahs, she strums, tra-la-la. glows, she sways,